Hello and good evening. Today we're gonna do the last demo for the app. To begin, let's talk a little bit about the last tests that we did with the actual users. I have a couple of pointers that a couple of users, for example, they couldn't find how to make a number negative. Um, Apparently, the symbol plus minus was a little too small. So we made that bigger for this iteration. We also added the capability of adding numbers to a certain power, as well as calculating square roots of numbers. The memory and the copy paste system was redone to look pretty much similar to what you have in a regular calculator. You have the memory reminder over here. Memory Plus will add whatever number to the memory store in to the number stored in memory, and memory negative will subtract whatever number you type in off the number stored in memory, and then MC will just clear the memory. So to start a demonstration, let's do 2 to the power of 8. And we'll have that is 256. So we can calculate square roots on powers. If you just want to square a number real quick, you just hit the square and it will power it to the second. But if you want to do something more complicated, then you just hit the power button and you can enter whatever power you want. To calculate a square root, you just hit the number. Sorry, just hit the number and then just hit the square root and equal, and it will calculate the square root for you. You can perform calculations with the square root in mind, like so. And so the memory system works this way. If you want to store a number that you have in screen, you just hit M plus. Basically, we have the same queue that we had before to show that a number is being stored. If you want to add to the number, or you just want to see, if you just want to see the number that's being stored, just click the MR and it will bring it to the screen. If you want to add a certain number, like a 3, for example, to that number, just hit M plus and it will add it to the number that we had stored, like you can see right here. Now, if you want to subtract a number, the same way as the M plus works with the M minus, except that it will subtract the number from the stored number. Um, so that's all we have done this week. The product is now complete, and we're gonna jump to the code review real quick and speak about what we done. See you in a minute. All right, so before we start the code review, we just want to do a little reflection of the work we did last week. We can start by speaking by what went right. Um, Basically, we were able to complete the product. It's a working calculator now. All the bugs have been worked out, and we will continue to work on it to see if we can monetize it and put it on the App Store. What went wrong? We ran into a lot of bugs, especially when working with the root function and the memory. Due to the lack of time, we had to cut short our work. Um, the experiences that we learned this week basically is going to help us later on to become better programmers. We did a lot of troubleshoots, and a lot of trouble solving during this project, and a lot of logic work that is going to give us more experience for projects in the future. Now, let's jump real quick into the code. Okay, so functions that we've done this week. Basically, we created all the memory functions and plus and all this stuff, um, and helper functions to help with the work on these functions. So we done our most of the work was done on the root function. Um, just like the fractions dash, the root dash had to also be dynamically resized every time a root will come into the view. Let me show you real quick. Once you type the first number, it resizes to the number that you have on screen already. So if you have a bigger number, it will cover that number in its totality. But if you want to add numbers later on after you put the root symbol on, then the screen, the dash on the top has to resize with the numbers to make it look good and to adapt to the size also of the fractions. So if you want to type a fraction and then put a root, the size of this root is it's a little bigger to incorporate the size of the fraction. So if we were to delete the fraction, it will go back to being a small root. As you saw earlier, the back button follows the steps on whatever is on the screen. So we had to add the root symbol to it. So if you have a number with a fraction and you have a root number, and that number is negative, basically when you hit the back button, it's going to start by deleting the root, then it's going to delete the fraction, and then the numbers, and then the symbol at the end. The other function that we spent most of our time was the power. This basically allowed us to enter a variable. We had to do kind of like we did with the fractions. When we type in the power, we eliminated all the buttons to make it easier for the user to know that we were typing the power. And once they were done with that, then you hit exit and it will go back to the regular. This is just a simple way that we can let the application know when the user is typing a power and when it stops. That together with memory buttons on the top gives this product the final touches to be an easy to use calculator that any user can pick up and use right away, and has more utility than a regular calculator, showing you the entire calculations on the second screen on the top, as well as performing calculations that regular calculator wouldn't have, like the powers, the square roots, and the fractions. Hopefully you enjoyed this demonstration and our code review. And I want to thank you for this awesome opportunity to create this application. Thank you so much for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.